Now, man, I am not reusing any articles on this one. Dragon Age The Veilguard's retail pre-orders. Yeah, we're talking about pre-orders for this disaster coming out at the end of the month. One more time, are 3 times lower than Star Wars Outlaws, which is abysmal to begin with. And yeah, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which is a massive success right now. But it's kind of crazy to compare and contrast that with what is generally going on with Bandai Namco at this point in time. But we'll get to them in due time. This is all about Dragon Age right now and the future of BioWare that's never looked worse than it is right now. Retail pre-orders for BioWare's upcoming Dragon Age The Veilguard are reportedly 3 times less than what Spike Chunsoft's recently released Dragon Ball Sparking Zero were. Oof. Stuttering Craig, the owner and host of Yes Side Scrollers podcast, revealed that his retail insider told him that the Veilguard had received only 1,957 pre-orders between the PS5 and Xbox. As both the gold and standard editions, yes, across the 800 stores that his insider has access to all this information on. It's an increase from the 1,069, nice, that, yeah, Craig had reported on back in September. So yeah, it went up. Not that much. Yeah, back when it was being compared against, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which came out and was in fact a massive success. So yeah, Sparking Zero to compare and contrast that. And yeah, even just for early access on Steam, over 90,000 people were in on that. And just to show you and see how this scales when it comes to physical pre-orders, Sparking Zero had a total of 5,952 total pre-orders on the Friday before the game released, October 4th. There were a total of 5,538 PlayStation 5 pre-orders and 414 Xbox pre-orders. Yo, man, that's a story in and of itself, just how dead the Xbox platform is, but I digress. Furthermore, the insider shared the pre-orders might have actually been higher for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but they actually sold out of Ultimate Editions for the PlayStation 5, thus it was not available for pre-order. For reference, Bandai Namco recently confirmed that Sparking Zero sold 3 million copies in its first 24 hours, which is absolutely nuts. And that's one of the first times this year that we've actually got hard data from a studio when it comes to selling games. I'm just wondering if by November 2nd, November 3rd, we're going to be getting an update from BioWare when it comes to sales of Veilguard. But hey, it could be worse. Of course, a game like Veilguard was going to fail in comparison to a Dragon Ball game, especially as one as anticipated as Sparking Zero. But what about when you compare and contrast that to Outlaws? Star Wars, that is. Another point of comparison, the retailer insider shared that Star Wars Outlaws total pre-orders actually topped Sparking Zero with 6,469. That's not good. There were 5,341 pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 and 1,398 for the Xbox. Really? And yet, to compare and contrast that, Ubisoft admitted that Star Wars Outlaws sales were softer than expected and slashed its net bookings by 30%. But we'll be talking more about Ubisoft here, I do believe, tomorrow and their current dire state. Yeah, man, we're looking at 2,000 pre-orders for Veilguard right now. But hey, things could turn around, okay? Better marketing, maybe some more comprehensive gameplay footage will be shared, or maybe we'll learn a little bit more about the story. And in fact, we have, because the alleged Dragon Age The Veilguard playtester reveals how ultra woke the game really is, beginning with a non-binary Canary companion. Oh, okay, so it's actually worse than we expected. Big shock on that one. An alleged Dragon Age The Veilguard playtester broke his NDA to reveal how ultra woke the game really is, beginning with the fact that the Canary companion Tosh identifies as non-binary. Yeah, man, who actually cares? We're playing a high fantasy game. Why are you doing that? Last time we seen something like this, and it was nobody who actually came forward and took responsibility for the release of a game that they just were not satisfied with, that they worked hand in glove with. That was The Last of Us Part 2. Oh shit. The playtester shared his information with YouTuber Nure, okay, and began with the Canary companion Tosh. He stated, "She told me that I'm a non-binary person." It's like, no, you're a non-binary Canary, but thanks for that information I don't give a flying fuck about. How the hell that a fantasy game in Thedas has the word non-binary? Yeah, exactly. It's a high fantasy setting. What are we doing with this crap? Okay. She said that I don't like men and I don't like women. I identify identify myself as non-binary just like that. If the dialogue is that ham-fisted, holy shit, are we in for something special. From there, he discussed romance options, because this is all this modern shit is all about. You take a look at movies and television series. What I'm hearing out of that Tomb Raider series, oh my god, the one on Netflix, not the live action one that may or may not see the light of day, but instead of just being a fun, adventurous romp, all about whether or not, Lara Croft now munches rug or not. It's like, Jesus, bro. These idiots that come in and write just have no life experience. They have no stories to tell. All they do is just tell the banality of their own life and then wonder why nobody else cares about the game that they made, because nobody else cares about you. And when you write about you in a fantastical setting like this, you somehow suck the fun out of a magical setting like this. Unbelievable. But yeah, romance options in the game, and implied that they are a gender locked. Oh, really? So if you choose male pronouns, you can only romance the 2 female characters that are the dwarf Harding and the female mage Niv, which is interesting because we got some screenshots from that female dwarf that are there, and some interesting finds. I don't know, man, because we don't have the game quite yet, but they're could be something to this. People taking a look about Harding, and Harding may or may not be a woman, I guess. Maybe, potentially. Maybe we're dealing with some interesting discoveries to be found later in the game, but I continue. However, if you choose non-binary as your pronoun option, you can romance all the characters. Yay, because that was always, even back when BioWare was really good, the romance stuff was always the most cardboard cutout, 2 pixelated images just rubbing together. It was never not awkward at all whatsoever. Even when you had a smoking hot character like Miranda Lawson, it was always just kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, you guys are in the engine room and she's taking off her bodysuit and it's just clunky. What are we doing? Regarding the pronouns, he detailed, of course there is a pronouns. I hate this bastardization of language, man. It is so perverse to read. They shove it in your throat. Yo, pause. Just like Starfield, same thing. Oh, great. And Az says he's going to be streaming this day 1. Oh my god, we're going to find out just how boring it really is. As far as the game story, he describes it as baffling. Great. He then went on to point to Solas's role. All right. They put him on the side. He's basically in the Fade, and basically we will talk to him every now and then, and that's it. And at the end of the game, there's something that is going to happen. Oh, great. Is he going to die? I would imagine so. Next, he shared their 2 elven gods. One of them is Gillanane. Glananon? Sure. Glananon. And he will make another Darkspawns. Okay. And the other one, Ilganarn, he was trying to take the elves and basically enslave them again. Something like that. He noted that it was just a disappointment after disappointment. It sounds just like a modern game, if we're going to be completely honest. Like, there's some bright spots that are out there, but in general, this is just AAA slop. I didn't expect anything else. Oh, and I see something ahead that I don't like. I don't like what I see right there. He also shared that the endings for the games are drastically different from each other. The rest of the gameplay is not all that different. He explained, you have the reputation system just like Origins. If you have a good relationship with the Veil Jumpers, they will help you out. If you can pursue the ending on that front. Jesus, this sounds like the ending of Star Wars Outlaws. If you have a good reputation with the Crimson Dawn, Kira will end up saving you at the end. Or if you have a good reputation with the Hutt Cartel, Jabba the Hutt will hop in his fat guy ship and he'll come save you with the rebels. And you can pursue the ending on that front. If you do that, or if you do this, it will go this way, and it's all based on either you can redeem Solas or you're going to end him, and that's it. Oh, great. It's Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda, the game that for years killed my passion in video games. Fucking hate that game all over again. Yo. And that was where, like, everybody realized that, ooh, BioWare. Yeah, what happened? Oh, you let Anita Sarkeesian in through the front door. Oh, okay, cool. You invited the vampire in, and now you're dealing with the consequences. And here we are, a decade later, with BioWare about to close up shop for good. And it's not like we're going to be missing out on anything, but a little bit more from the leak, as Grums has detailed here. Facial animation is Andromeda all over again, and plastic, which I assume is a lot of my face is tired quality. Yo, I don't know if you guys remember, but during that time, like when Mass Effect Andromeda first launched, like there was that Uncanny Valley meme that went around, you know, my face is tired, and kind of looked like Sharon Osbourne straight out of the clinic. But then there was also the crab walking animations, and everything was stuck and stuttered and stunned. It was one of the first. I can't remember. Did that come out first? Did Andromeda come out first, or was it Assassin's Creed Unity? But it's so funny how BioWare and Ubisoft are right now trying to beat each other to the bottom of this death spiral, and they were the ones to really kick off AAA shipping games that just weren't done yet. Inquisitor and Inquisition is corrupt and may not be any help, even if you didn't disband it. Choices don't matter. It's Mass Effect 3 again. Rook sidelined. Backstory wasted. Just a guy in a bar. Very much diminished. Tester feedback ignored. Boss said, oh, is this the non-binary gendermancer? Fantastic. It's very good feedback, but I can't send it to them, the devs. It's very good stuff, but basically, you can't talk about how the woke stuff is making the game worse. It's not something you can talk about, even if it's ruining the game. Grey Warden Darvin, a newcomer who never finished his training, gets to influence and make important decisions for the Grey Warden solely because he's a person of color. Oh, great. Is that the guy with the Killmonger haircut that we see in every single promotional image? I'd imagine so. And I guess to decide everything, the segment of the gameplay in the Fade is a boring walking simulator and just just get some fetch quests. Yeah, because they focused all of their stuff on all of the inclusivity options. It's just the gameplay and the side quests. They just ended up suffering because who actually does that? In fact, that there's an accessibility option in the menu where you can just turn off all that stuff. You can make it so the game basically plays itself. So the likes of Jim Stephanie Sterling will give it an 8, or IGN will praise it to the moon and back. Hell, BioWare doesn't need to buy out the website like they did back in Mass Effect 3 times in order to get a sparkling review. They will just go ahead and do that right now. Other major characters like Varric turned into mere advisors and pushed to the back of the story. It is so far removed from Origins that it's crazy it's in the same universe. This is the end of BioWare, the interviewer concludes. Final nail in the coffin for a, yeah man, once great studio and franchise. And it sucks because every time that we talk about Dragon Age The Veilguard, I talk about how much I loved BioWare, especially the Mass Effect trilogy. I'm a little bit more of an apologist for 3 than a lot of people are, because at the end of the day, they had a vision for how the story was going to end, so how are they ultimately going to pay off all of these different endings that people were theorizing? And it's so funny how they're going to handle this flop, the Dragon Age Veilguard flop. Compare and contrast that with Mass Effect 3 and the people being upset about that. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but after Mass Effect 3 shipped and people played it and then they got to the ending and they were like, well, what the hell? You know, the ending is just basically 3 different options and is basically, you know, pick your favorite color, and that's the differentiations. Oh, none of our choices matter and that's all crap. It's like, if you're going to be upset about anything, how about locking away the Promethean character behind Day 1 DLC? It's like, that's some EA scum shit. Raise more hell about that. But BioWare ended up, I can't remember if they brought them to the studio or if they just sent them 3 different colors of cupcakes, and then they ended up taking that in stride. I just wonder if there's going to be that type of calm, cool, and collected response, or if they're just immediately going to go to the you're the racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes. I kind of know where we're going to be going. This is going to be a glorious disaster moving forward, because if you thought the character creation screen was something to write home about, you just wait until people get their hands on this story and we see how awful it really is. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.